In this video, we cover the following topics. The most common method of mixing colors is to use the mixing areas in the palette. The best wells are fairly deep basins designed for producing puddles of paint. A consistent consistency or similarity of mixture of color or value. This can be produced by mixing pigment with water and dipping from this puddle to retrieve the paint. However, be mindful of the tendency of pigment particles to separate out of a mix. If this occurs, simply stir the puddle each time additional paint is needed to achieve a consistent color. Mixing in the palette helps prepare colors in advance, achieve consistency of color and value, as well as create pools of color to draw from for the purpose of creating washes. First, let's look at mixing in the palette. Mixing in the palette offers artists control, consistency, and the ability to experiment with color while learning. To mix in the palette, simply activate the paints with water and add the colors to be combined in the palette, rinsing between paints. Then stir the paint to achieve a consistent hue and before applying the paint to the paper. Stir each time the brush is reloaded. This is especially important when working with sedimentary pigments. Control. Mixing on the palette allows for precise control over the color and consistency of the paint before it touches the paper. This method is ideal for achieving exact, repeatable color mixes. Consistency. It ensures that the color is uniform before application, which is important when large areas need a consistent hue. Experimentation. Artists can test color mixes on a separate test sheet to see the outcome before applying it to the actual artwork, reducing the risk of unwanted surprises. Learning and teaching. It provides a clear way to demonstrate color theory in educational settings, showing how different proportions alter the resulting hue. Now, let's look at direct mixing. The direct mixing method is performed by blending colors directly on the paper. By adding in the same or a similar consistency of paint, colors can be made to dance back and forth between colors to produce a lovely dappled or mottled effect. This method is often perceived as a fresher method of blending color. The outcome feels freer, looser, and more dynamic. This can prevent colors from feeling stale or stiff. Simply take a small amount of wet pigment from the wells and apply it to the paper. Then, immediately place another similarly wet pigment in an area adjacent to or touching the wet area to allow the pigments to directly mix on the paper. Charging with any number of colors that are the same consistency during the wash process may be performed until the wash has been completed. To achieve this effectively, the paint applied must be the same wetness as the paint on the paper. This typically requires working quickly and being mindful of the consistency of the wash mixture and the water differential. Additionally, painting on a slight tilt and managing water will help to prevent backruns and blossoms. Direct mixing offers a range of benefits including dynamic results. Mixing directly on the paper allows the colors to blend naturally, using the water and paper's texture to create unique, often unpredictable effects. Vibrancy. This method can result in more vibrant, lively colors as the pigments interact in their purest form without pre-blending. Spontaneity. It lends a spontaneous and organic feel to the artwork, which can be very expressive and emotionally engaging. By understanding the advantages and ideal scenarios for each mixing method, artists can make informed decisions that align with their artistic goals and project requirements, ultimately enhancing their mastery over the medium of watercolor. Artist skill level. Beginners might prefer palette mixing for its control, while more experienced artists might enjoy the challenge and results of direct mixing. Desired artistic effect. If precision and uniformity are required, palette mixing is preferable. For more expressive, fluid effects, direct mixing is better. The nature of the project, detailed botanical illustrations might call for palette mixing, whereas a loose landscape could benefit from the spontaneity of direct mixing. Time and materials, palette mixing can be more time-consuming and might waste more paint, whereas direct mixing is generally quicker and might use paint more efficiently. Elevate your watercolor practice with comprehensive Watercolor, an interactive guide for learning to paint with watercolor. It offers clear instructions, hands-on exercises, a free product guide, and over 200 instructional videos. This book makes it easier than ever to learn, practice, and master the art of watercolor painting. To learn more, check out Comprehensive Watercolor. The links to purchase are in the description below. The Ultimate Watercolor Product Guide covers virtually all the gear a watercolorist needs to begin a lifelong journey of watercolor painting and includes recommendations for gear like equipment, materials, supplies, tools, mixed media and more. This free guide accompanies the book, Comprehensive Watercolor, an interactive guide for learning to paint with watercolor. Download your free copy of the Ultimate Watercolor Product Guide today by clicking the link located in the video description below or visiting mandikins.com. Thank you for watching. Tap the archer to subscribe and the bell to be notified when I post new content. To continue your watercolor journey, click a video from one of the playlists above.